This is part three of the podcast titled Log Cabin Politics and Manifest Destiny. The presidential election of 1840 is one of the more interesting ones in American history, and really this is where we get the title Log Cabin Politics from. We have seen for the first time the Whig Party very organized. In the previous election in 1836, they had four candidates running. Now they have one, William Henry Harrison. And William Henry Harrison fits all the imagery of Andrew Jackson. Thus, this is where we get the title, Log Cabin Politics. Andrew Jackson, born in a log cabin. And the Whigs are going to try and use this politicking scheme to make William Henry Harrison electable. They're going to push this idea of log cabins and hard cider. They're going to use slogans like Andrew Jackson did, Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Tippecanoe referring to William Henry Harrison's victory in the years upcoming in the War of 1812, and Tyler will be his vice presidential candidate. They're going to use negative campaigning. Van is a used up man. This refers to Martin Van Buren. All of this is going to give rise to a victory by the Whig Party in the presidential election of 1840. Ultimately, the key to understanding this is Martin Van Buren actually loses in the presidential election of 1840 to all of the politicking that he himself created to get Andrew Jackson elected. Sort of an interesting turn of events, but ultimately that's what transpires here. Perhaps the best political cartoon of the time to illustrate all of this is this cartoon, The Trap Sprung Kinderhook Fox Caught. The Kinderhook Fox is Martin Van Buren. That's his nickname, and you'll see him. He's trapped in the log cabin. You'll notice here Andrew Jackson is trying to pry the cabin up, but he can't do so because he's got no go. It's too soft. This is actually cotton, and it shows how the slave holders are not happy with Van Buren. He's using a hickory stick to try and pry him out. Van Buren can't even climb out of the roof because new cider, like hard cider, is pried in there. Bottom line here is this pretty much illustrates everything that went wrong for Martin Van Buren. And all these states that you see here on the log cabin are the states that made life difficult for him in the presidential election. Another political cartoon which illustrates the issues that he had in this election is you'll notice Andrew Jackson here. He's trying to lead Martin Van Buren to the White House, seen here, and he's trying to lead him along this road up through, but you'll notice all of the log cabins and hard cider are making life difficult for him along this route to the White House, and he's carrying the sub-treasury. This is in reference to the economic issues that he had with the Depression and so forth. And you'll notice the sign here. To Kinderhook is the opposite way, which means back to New York and to the White House. And you'll notice the common man. He is thumbing his nose at Martin Van Buren, which is another way of, making a very bad finger gesture. This flow chart, which we will complete in school, gives us an idea of the evolution of the two-party system from the Democratic-Republican Party and the Federalist Party at the top here, and how the Republican Party, Democratic-Republican Party, split into two, into the Democrats and the Republicans. And then we begin to see where we evolve into the National Republicans or the Whigs. The presidential election of William Henry Harrison that we discussed at this point, Harrison will die early on due to a cold, and John Tyler will become the next president. And we're going to fast forward from Tyler to the presidential election of 1844, and we're going to see how this Whig Party deals with their new opposition, which are the Democrats. And that's going to be the next podcast.